Hi, this is Rachel Landolt, and this is my Professional Values project for Student Services course. I picked this background because it is a tree, and I think that a lot of the foundational areas of my professional values are what spring forth into how I interact in my job and the standards that I have, and as well as my beliefs surrounding student services and academic advising. So first, we'll talk about my foundations. Um, I think the top thing that really goes into making me who I am within the student services profession is that primarily due to my positive experience in this formative process of being a college student. I found college to be extremely formative, and therefore I see that it works in students and moves them from high school into adulthood. These experiences have given me my understanding from which to build upon interacting with students and creating programs for students. It also fuels a lot of my passion for about student services. I put some pictures here of my time at my university as well as in my social club here. Um, I believe that your experiences cannot really be separated from theory, and theory cannot be separated from experience. The textbook seemed to talk about different ways that um, individuals can focus mostly on experience and therefore not want to focus on theory, but I really feel like there needs to be a balance. In my opinion, theories help us understand and make sense of our own experiences. At the same time, it allows us the ability to recognize similar situations in students we serve. I feel like theory helps us connect the why behind an experience that either we're having or the student has, which can help us improve and learn from it. And then effective utilization of theory also depends, in my opinion, on experience in working with that theory and the feedback I receive from students. If I work with a theory and students, are like, no, that doesn't fit with me, then I may not be as apt at using that theory again. We tend to have a natural tendency toward the theories which we have had experience with. And I really liked this quote from our textbook that talked about how years of experience are believed to render student affairs professionals more competent and credible in their roles. And this is really the author put in light of that experience should not take the sole priority over theory, which leads us to the next part of our slide that talks about my foundational theories. Um, I discussed in a lot of our discussion posts that the Chickering developmental theory really resonated with me. I felt like it described my own experience in college, and therefore I see that in other students in which they're learning to manage their emotions. They're really, when I work with them as advisors, trying to figure out how to distinguish themselves individually, separate and apart from their parents, and really figure out how their identity plays into their purpose and what their purpose is. Um, my advisor right here is a picture of my dorm mom. She played a vital role in me navigating that development into my own identity. Also, Strange and Banning's environmental theory, in which campus environment, being comfortable and multicultural plays a huge role in students' ability to develop. And I have a picture here of my campus from my private school I attended. It's definitely beautiful, and it was really a big reason that I chose to go to the college that I went to. And it is also why I have chosen to work at a community college. Just that environment is conducive, in my opinion, to student development. Um, so this theory definitely makes sense to me and is a big part of what I utilize in my work with students. Um, as I've progressed in this program, I've also begun to accept my identity as a white individual and aware of the privileges that that identity has afforded me over the years. I do recognize that some individuals have not been given the same opportunity, and my perspectives and understandings are greatly shaped by the invisible benefits afforded to me because of that white privilege. So that's an area that theories interact with how I view standards and everything. Also, typology theories play a big part of my understanding of myself, as well as I believe help others understand themselves. So I believe that everyone should have the opportunity to understand themselves better. I put a little picture right here of the DISC testing, which was maybe my first experience with typology theories when I was in college. I worked with an individual that did that, and I'm an I individual. But I, have worked with other theories, Strength Finder, Myers-Briggs, to help students understand who they are. Finally, the last foundation talks about my work competencies and how through working at the community college, we use student engagement theory, primarily George Koo, in recognizing how can we further engage students in improved programs to encourage student engagement. We recently used the CESI, Community College Survey of Student Engagement, to help us build our QEP project and our learning communities. Also in my role as a leader and mentor for the new student orientation leaders, I've used Bullman and Deal's organizational frames to help me interact with those students. So the foundations really lead to, and I used a tree because they're the root system, and from which the ethical standards and other responsibilities are shaped. The experiences, theories, and competencies are all kind of the base from which everything else springs. So, ethical principles are a basis on which we make decisions professionally concerning our everyday practices, as well as difficult situations. And so my number one priority is welfare and development of students. This affects how I interact with the students and how I frame my duties throughout the day. As an advisor, I have a lot of respect for students' autonomy. So that can be uncomfortable for the student, especially freshmen, when they want you to just give them the easy class, or what class should I take? And I have to remind them that they always have a choice. So I'm always maintaining that balance. Also, I have a high sense of duty to be responsible and available. And so I can often be up at the school till 7 o'clock at night answering emails that students have, because I know they're there needing the answer immediately, and waiting until the next day does not provide them the best service. Also, I believe in creating an inclusive community, and so when we're training our NSO leaders, we talk to them about how they can encourage the freshmen to be involved, how they themselves can portray acceptance of diversity and include individuals into the community. And then I highly value truth and accuracy, and sometimes this can be taken well by students, but as an advisor, I'm going to be honest with them on where they're at with their GPA and ask them difficult questions about how realistic is it that you get A's in all your classes after you've had a semester of failing all your classes. We talk about those things. That can be difficult for a student to recognize, but I am always going to rely on those ethical principles. This leads into professional standards, which fall into second place after ethical standards. And that would be my high level of professionalism. This standard means that I recognize that I'm representing the institution at all times, even when I'm off duty. I've had where I at a conference with students, we're on the escalator at the Houston Galleria, and somebody recognizes we're from Blinn and automatically knows the school that we're from. So we're always representing our institution even when we don't know we are. Customer service is a very high goal and aspiration myself. I'm often going above and beyond the call of duty in order to help a new student. And then I do have a respect for all individuals. As an advisor, we talk to everyone, whether it's somebody wanting to get a continuing education degree or go on to their bachelor's, and we deal with them all the same. I am a member of the National Orientation Directors Association, and this gives certain professional association standards that I strive for in my new student orientations. One of that is a focus on transition and making sure that I'm addressing issues that students are facing or going to be dealing with. Also portraying accurate and accessible information. I'm constantly harping on our marketing department to make sure that our website is up to date and giving the accurate information. I'm sure they get tired of hearing from me on that. I strive to recognize diversity and embrace that in both the individuals I hire as NSO leaders and the training that we give to our NSO leaders. And then another thing that our profession NODA profession is spending a lot of time talking about is valuing the parent's role and experience, their role in the student's life, that we are partnering with them, we're not taking their place, as well as helping the parents understand this transition that they're experiencing as well. So a lot of institutions, including my own, have started adding on a separate parent orientation in order to address those transition issues that parents are experiencing. So those are standards that come from my membership in NODA. This leads to my view of what it means to be an administrator. And I really think, coming from my theory that I have learned from Bullman and Deal, is that administrators really need to communicate with the front line and the individuals that are working with the students. They may not know all the theory, but they're on the daily tasks of dealing with those students, and so they may be seeing those things and not realizing that they're connecting them to a theory. So you can often still open the lines of communication with individuals under your direction, so that way you can build manageable and meaningful interaction with the students that are in line with the institutional mission. Which leads to my belief that really academic affairs and student affairs need to be collaborating. There's a lot of information out there about silos, and that we have these two different departments that traditionally and historically have been working in silos, and really that just isolates both sides. We're not able to provide service to the students, and so when we unite under a common purpose of the welfare and development of the student, then we're able to improve our customer service and increase student engagement. And I love the quote from Keeling that talks about all areas of college engagement provide opportunities for student learning and development, whether that's on the academic side of the house or the student affairs side of the house. Which leads us to talking about the difference between the student services versus student affairs. Student services, in my mind, are providing those services to students that are more clerical in nature, usually involving around enrollment services, whereas student affairs is more about fostering student development, supporting the holistic development and learning is a great way to put it, of students, and really being concerned about development that happens outside the classroom, whether that's with student activities, new student orientation, advising, and so student affairs is really the counterpart of academic affairs, where academic affairs is integral in the development of students at the educational level. Student affairs is important about prioritizing on the development of students outside the classroom. So that leads me to my professional values. And this is a list of all my references. And I hope that gives you some insight into things that I've learned from this course. And I really appreciated everything we've learned, and this has helped me understand really my thoughts and processes